Hey everybody, it's Amy from Amy Bachman Sew and Quilt and Amy Sews, and let's talk about stitch in the ditch feet. No, a stitch in the ditch foot doesn't normally come with your machine, so there's so much confusion out there. Let me show you the difference. All right, I'm over here at my machine, and let's take a quick peek at what all the different feet look like. So let's start with the ones that are standard with your machine. I'm on a Janome. They all kind of look similar, but maybe a little bit different. This is a seam overcast foot. See those little pins right there? So that helps support stitch in the ditch. Helps support seam overcasting. This is not a stitch in the ditch foot. This is your blind hem foot. Again, because it has that rudder, it's not a stitch in the ditch foot, because if you could see here, there's a tiny little space for your needle where that little wire is bent. So this is for doing blind hems. And this is where the confusion comes into play. This is a true stitch in the ditch foot. See how long that rudder is and how it sticks out right towards the end of your machine. So I see a lot of, and again, I feel like I'm the old pearl clutcher because I watch these young girls on TikTok and I'm like, no, that's not a stitch in the ditch foot. So I thought, oh, perfect opportunity today. This is your blind hem and this is your stitch in the ditch. Why the difference? Let's see if we can get a kind of a close-up of the rudders here. So this is the blind hem foot on my left. Let's see if I can work the cameras. I'm not going to be able to see so you can see better. So see how long and straight this rudder is here on this foot. Okay, that is your stitch in the ditch. This is your blind hem. It's shorter and it has a little tiny bend in there for the needle to go through. So let's put our stitch in the ditch foot on. Again, this is a straight stitch function. So oh, I grabbed the wrong millimeter foot. I'm sorry. So let me just explain to you what's happening. So this is my ditch that I'm talking about. When you use a proper stitch in the ditch foot, this rudder is tilted about maybe 5 degrees from being straight up and down. And what happens as it goes through the fabric, it pushes this seam open. So your stitching you don't see your stitching because after it passes through, the seam collapses and covers your stitching. So this isn't straight up and down for a reason. So don't try to rebend it. Like when you purchase one for your machine, you're going to go straight down that seam. The rudder is going to ride the seam, part the seam open. Your stitch is going to fall in behind it. And when the stitch collapses, you won't see anything. If you use your stitch in the ditch foot, that rudder is straight up and down. And see how offset this foot is? It doesn't lay flat because that rudder is down deeper, because when you fold a blind hem, you have height and differences in your feet. So if you start the blind hem with this, or stitch and ditch with this, it's going to push and never be exactly in your ditch. It's just going to be off your ditch. It's going to be very hard to keep that straight. So that's the difference between blind hem and stitch in the ditch. Your rudder is straight down the middle. Your blind hem is a little offset with a bend in it. So to get the best results, you have to use the best foot for the job. And that happens to be the actual stitch in the ditch foot. Hi, Jane. Hi, Barbara. So feet matter to get the right, perfect results. So next time you're watching an influencer, you might want to cross-check the information. You can cross-check me if you want, but every brand has a stitch in the ditch foot, and it usually is not included in your feet. Usually it's a purchased accessory. All right, there is your Flippin' Friday tip of the day. Go and enjoy yourself. Go turn your machine on, walk into your sewing room, pick something up, sew a couple rows of straight stitches just to get your juices flowing and get inspired and get something done, because the more you know, the more you sew.